So picking up here with number 34, 34 is about a truck that is moving toward an intersection. It's 20 miles from the intersection, and it's going to a point that is 50 miles currently. So where it's starting out to where it's going to end is 50 miles in a straight line, but it's not going to move in a straight line. So it's got to go 20 to the left, and then it's got to go up some amount. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out what y is. So y is just going to be from the Pythagorean theorem, square root of 50 squared minus 20 squared. So this is really a calculator question, but there's so much kind of thought involved that I thought I would write it out instead of just doing it on the calculator. So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to use distance equals rate times time, because that's essentially what this question boils down to. So distance is rate times time, which means that time is distance over rate, because the question here is how long will it take, so we're looking for time. So the distance that it's going to go is first from where it starts, it's going to go that 20 units, and then it's going to move y units up. So the distance is 20 plus y, and then the rate we're told is 45 miles per hour. So I'm going to divide by 45. Then I'm going to use a calculator to work that out, and the calculator is going to tell me that t is approximately 1.462795, but that's in hours. So if you look at the answer choices, one of them is 27 minutes, that's out. One of them is 1 hour 7 minutes, that's out, and I'll explain why in a second. C is 1 hour and 28 minutes, D is 1 hour and 33 minutes, and then E is 1 hour and 46 minutes. So they probably want you to pick E because you have 1.46, but that's not how hours work. So E is actually out. The answer is C because you have slightly less than 1.5 hours, and 1.5 hours would be an hour and 30 minutes. So the answer is C, but you might also just do this conversion. So take the decimal part, which is in hours, and multiply it by 60 minutes per hour, and that would give you about 28 minutes. So an hour and 28 minutes. So C is your answer. Okay, let's look at the next one, which is 35. So in 35, we're given 4 ordered pairs. Well, we're given a table, but I turned them into 4 ordered pairs, and then I plotted them, and then I drew a curve through it, which is what I would recommend you do. And we're trying to pick which of the answer choices could be the polynomial that represents this situation. So looking at it, I know that the polynomial at a minimum is going to have an x plus 1 and an x minus 2. So since it at a minimum has to have an x plus 1 and x minus 2, I'm going to go through and cross off any answer choice that doesn't have that. So A and D are out. The next thing that I know is that this polynomial has to have a 0 somewhere between 0 and 1. So it's got to have somewhere between 0 and 1 is 0. So this thing that I'm writing has to have another factor. So there's got to be an x minus k, where k has to be between 0 and 1. So I'm looking at the answer choices now, and I'm looking for one that has an additional factor of x minus something, where that something is between 0 and 1. And looking at that, I can cross off C and E, so the answer has to be B. So that's how I would deal with this. It kind of looks like a calculator question, but it's really not. Let's move on. So 36. 36 is you're given a bunch of prime factors, so these are the only prime factors of a number. And then what you're asked is which of the following could not be a factor of that number. So the first thing, option A, is 10, but 10 is 2 times 5, so that could definitely be a factor. The next one is 20. 20 is 2 squared times 5. Since we're not told that 2, 5, 7, and 17 only show up once, they could show up a lot. So B is out, and we're just going to keep going. So C is 25, which is 5 squared, so obviously that could have been a factor. D is 30, which is 2 times 3 times 5, and there's no 3 involved, so that's got to be the answer, but I'll finish E anyway. E is 34, which is going to be just 2 times 17, so that could have been an option. So that's how I would do that one, just kind of process of elimination. Let's take a look at number 39. So remember, anything that I skip, it's because you could have done it on your calculator. Although I'm also going to show you how to do number 39 on your calculator eventually. So 39 is about the Fibonacci sequence. You might actually have that memorized, so depending on what you're doing, you might already have known the answer. So we're told that the first term is 1, the second term is 1. The third term we get by adding up the 2 previous terms, so that's going to give you 2. The fourth term, you add up the 2 previous terms, so that's going to give you 3. And then I'm just going to keep going. So we're always adding the 2 previous terms, and then I'm going to stop when I get to the 10th term, which is 55. So that's your answer, and that's option C. Let's take a look at one more in this video. So I'll do number 41. So I'm skipping number 40, calculator question. So 41, we're given these 2 graphs that kind of look like this. What I'm going to note, and then we're asked to find, to pick the graph that is probably f of x times g of x. So what I'll notice is three things about this. On this kind of interval, we have f is positive and negative, then they're both 0 at the same time, then, or rather g is positive and f is negative when you're to the left of the x-axis. They're both 0 at the same time, and then to the right you get that f is positive and g is negative. So, to start graphing this, I would immediately just put that 0 there. So, and based on that, you can actually eliminate option B if you were looking to do that. So option B is out. Then to the left of 0, we have positive times negative, so that's going to be negative, so it's going to look like that, maybe. And then to the right, we have a positive times a negative, so it's going to look like that. There's actually only one graph that looks even remotely like that, and that's option A, so that's got to be the answer. And I'll stop there and come back in another video to finish this off. Hope this was helpful.